You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Say goodbye to your credit card rewards. Greedy corporate mega stores, led by Walmart and Target, are pushing for a law in Congress to take away your hard-earned cash back and travel points to line their pockets. The Durbin-Marshall credit card bill would enact harmful credit card routing mandates that would end credit card rewards as we know it. If you love your credit card rewards, tell your lawmakers, hands off my rewards. Tell them to oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill.
Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, you've come to the right place. This is the podcast that talks about amazing stories of Tinseltown from another era and fascinating conversations with writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara.
So, Steve, did Ava Gardner and Howard Hughes have a good relationship?
Well, they did until he dislocated her jaw.
What?
Well, don't worry. She hit him back with an ashtray.
From Beneath the Hollywood Sign is the gin joint for you.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neil, and Jeff. This is Triviality. The cream of the crop!
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Jeff and I will be your host today. We're going to have a free-for-all match. I've challenged all of the gentlemen in the studio with me to a game today. So let's just go around the table and see who's here.
Yeah, it's Ken.
And Matt. And Neil. And we're... No, I'm just kidding.
Well, right at the top here, we wanted to send out a quick acknowledgement. Thanks for the mention, Trivial Warfare. Another great trivia podcast we suggest that you guys check out. It's really entertaining, great questions, very challenging, and a lot of fun. So Trivial Warfare are partners in trivia.
Yeah. We've been doing this for about a month or so now. We've been kind of blown away by all the support we've been getting from the trivia community and a lot of the podcasts in the trivia community. Lita George does Something Birds, which is kind of like Name That Tune without being allowed to call it Name That Tune. If you've seen Beat Shazam, it's kind of a similar concept. They do like 8 to 10 second clips of the song, you guess, and it's pretty awesome. And we'd like to thank you for the shout out. So check that podcast out too.
Another thing I like is this format's really short, so you can play, just go right through a couple episodes.
Blow through those, yeah.
Really quickly, so it's nice.
Yeah, and best of luck to him on his Jeopardy tryout. I'm not sure when that's going to be, but I saw him posting people sending in questions to help him. So whenever you do that, Lee, good luck on that. And we heard Lee from Trivial Warfare, so it's all full circle. So make sure you check out both of those podcasts, Trivial Warfare and Something Birds. And I wanted to bring up something too. For our listeners, we've been getting more and more reviews, and we really appreciate you guys writing in, telling us what you think of the show on iTunes. So we're going to do a little fun contest, I guess we can call it. We want to get to 50 reviews. We're at 14 right now. So once we get to 50, what we're going to do is pull 10 reviews out of a hat, and whoever wrote those reviews, we're going to try and contact and give away a prize. So yeah, write in those reviews and help us get to 50. Jeff, you said you had a story that your coworker told you that sounded really funny right before we start.
Yeah, so I did earlier in the week. Coworker knows that I do this. Hasn't listened to the show, I'm pretty sure, but so I won't call them out. But they posed a trivia question for me, knowing that I like to do this kind of stuff, and I'll pose it to you. I definitely got it wrong, and I'll tell you what my answer was and what my logic was. But so it was posed to me, and the question was, what is the most expensive liquid? And that's by amount, so ounce, gallon, whatever you want to measure it in. The most expensive per any metric there.
I'm gonna say jet fuel.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good guess.
Like rocket fuel, I should say.
Rocket fuel.
In my experience, it's always been Cavassier. So
Cavassier. Is mercury is that a liquid possibly?
Oh, yeah, maybe Louis the 13th.
Yeah, somewhere in that range. Mercury is liquid. It's I don't know.
Like that goes in thermometers. It's probably not.
But
that
they throw it in
expensive.
thermometers, so I wouldn't guess it's that expensive.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wish I had thought of Louis the 13th.
So those are all great. So my first gut reaction: genetic material is often quite valuable. So I originally guessed bull semen, and then I quickly redacted and I went no, like thoroughbred
no.
racing horse
lizard semen. No.
Because I figured they try and keep the bloodlines pretty pure. I know that stuff can be kind of expensive. So I was completely astonished. That's not even on the radar. Is actually scorpion venom. At $39 million a gallon, scorpion venom is the most expensive liquid.
Oh man, I gotta sell my scorpion venom. I had no idea. I was sitting on a gold mine.
So the protein found in scorpion venom can be used to treat pain in humans, especially those who suffer from MS. It's also prescribed to people who have RA, rheumatoid arthritis, or IBS, inflammatory bowel disease. But at $39 million a gallon, scorpion venom is the most expensive liquid. It's crazy expensive.
Well, knowing we got that wrong just makes my confidence shrink a little bit lower right before we start this game. So I guess we should just start it.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Fair enough. So if we're going to start, let me just break down the rules real quick. 20 questions in a variety of topics worth 10 points apiece, split into 2 rounds. Halftime, we're going to be doing a special swing round designed by me, where the players can rack up some extra points. At the end of regulation, players will enter the final round with the points they've accumulated and have the chance to wager 0 to 30 points on 5 categorized questions. At the end of the game, someone will be named the cream of the crop.
The cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Everyone ready to get started?
Let's do it.
Let's rock and roll.
All right. What Star Wars actress portrayed Matilda in Leon, the Professional?
Okay. Yeah, I know this.
I know this one too. I'm in.
It's an actress question, and I feel like I know it, so I'm pretty happy with this.
All right. Ken was quite sure. What did you say?
This is Natalie Portman.
Neil?
Yes, while I prefer her young performance in Beautiful Girls, it is Natalie Portman.
I said Natalie Portman.
And a sweep to start. Everybody with 10 points right off the bat.
I feel like that you're buttering us up, and now you're gonna throw down the hammer. But I feel good right now. I will tell you that.
There's a good mix.
Yeah.
I made easy and hard questions.
Okay.
Question 2. On what planet would you find NASA's Curiosity rover?
Okay. Yep. I feel pretty good about this one as well.
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah, same.
All right. I'll kick it to Neil.
I believe that's Mars.
I also said Mars.
I said Mars.
Yeah.
All right.
Well done.
Oh god, this
Mars
is
all around.
Totally going to be a Shyamalan twist. I know it's coming. This is way too easy for Jeff, and it's just going to get hard.
I mean, you gotta get a little bit of a warm
up. You wake up in your own bed. You're like, oh my god, it was a dream.
And then Jeff's like, hey guys, my game's ready, and it's just like name the 7 moons of Zanzibar or something. Okay.
Question 3. What is the capital city of Canada?
There it is.
Yeah.
These questions are bad because I feel like I should know it, and I feel stupid for not knowing it.
I'm going to insult all of you that get this wrong.
Well, what stinks is they're just our neighbors up to the north, and it's not like they're that different from us or far away, and I should know this.
I should expect that you should know it or have a reasonable chance to figure it out. If you didn't come immediately, I thought you would get it. Not in the time I'm going to allot you, but eventually.
Okay. I have something written.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm not too happy about it, but I wrote an answer down.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll begin. I could have written a city that I know is in Canada. I did not do that. I wrote one that I think is in Canada. It might be in Australia or Africa, perhaps. So I wrote Victoria.
Okay.
I wasn't too sure. I was toying between. I don't think Vancouver is the capital. I don't think Toronto might be the capital because it seems pretty obvious. But just knowing their French roots, I just went with Montreal.
Yeah, I was toying between Montreal and Edmonton for a little bit, but I ended up going with Toronto.
Okay. While Toronto is in the same province as this capital, if I said that you should have thought about senators, maybe?
Ottawa.
It was Ottawa?
Oh.
It is Ottawa. I thought you might back your way into
is
that
Victoria
one.
a Canadian city?
No.
It's Australia.
I mean, it might be, but it's principally more known for,
Australia. That's where
and
I was
other places.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't one of the ones that I thought it was.
Yeah. I thought maybe if you thought about sports teams, because there's, we all know hockey pretty well. I figured if you came up with Ottawa Senators, you might think
I wouldn't have
pretty
been
logically.
able to pick one out of the, I believe there's 7 Canadian hockey teams.
There's an Ottawa suburb in Illinois, right? I think
there is.
I think I did a music tournament there once. Okay,
there is.
I just want to make sure. Okay.
Great.
Not that anyone cares, but
good info.
It's for all your
how did it go?
Don't worry, that's going to get cut.
It went okay.
Just kidding, I don't care.
On to question 4. Cogito ergo sum, Latin for I think therefore I am, was a phrase written by which philosopher in his text Meditations on First Philosophy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm in.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm in.
Okay. Ken thinks he knows it.
I went with Descartes.
Okay. Matt?
Plato.
Neil?
So if I remember correctly, you're the philosophy guy. I think I was taught that SPA is the way to remember the succession of order. It was Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. Just merely for the fact that you said it was Meditations on First Philosophy, I figured it was the first one, so I put Socrates.
Okay. Well, Ken is the only one receiving points on this question. It is, of course, René Descartes.
Of course.
I say, of course, yes, because I'm the one who should know that. Latin I was hoping would help you out of the Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, because they were, of course, Greek.
Oh, yeah, but Descartes was French, though, right?
Yeah. But a lot of academia was done in Latin, even if you had like French as a language.
How tedious.
Yeah, Latin just made me think of the old guys.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
That's why I got in that era.
Yeah. So
I had to shake that thought off myself. But
you had to shake it off.
I was pretty sure it was Descartes.
But we named philosophers, so I feel like that was a good start.
Success.
And SPA, you had the order perfectly dead on. So it'd be
correct?
Socrates,
Okay.
Plato, Aristotle. You've got it right. Socrates didn't really write anything. All of the Socratic dialogues were written by Plato about interactions Socrates had.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, we do know his most famous interaction was with Bill and Ted when he said, we're all like dust in the wind, or I should say, they said that to him.
I think his most famous interaction was with Hemlock, but that's neither here nor there. On to question 5, which is our listener submitted question. This one comes today from Adam Abbasi. So thanks, Adam. Much appreciated. So the question is, within 5 years, when was the University of Chicago opened?
Well, that's tough.
That is tough.
Little local geography question for you.
First of all, when was the city of Chicago established? And then let's go from there.
Well, it's not on the flag, which is good, because all good flag design should have no words or numbers written on it.
Is that pre-fire or post-fire that it was established?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's probably. I don't know why I'm discussing with you.
I know it's like
I think it's post-fire.
It's in the crest.
Trivia.
I think it's post-fire, but
I think you might be right. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to see the crest in my head, but it might be pre-fire.
All right, we're within 5.
Yes.
Okay.
that's a good question, Adam.
Yeah,
and I think you stumped me, but I'm taking a guess.
One number came right into my head. I have no idea why I'm thinking of this number. It is probably totally incorrect, but I'm just going to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm changing my answer. I'm going earlier.
All right. Who has the least confidence? That's who I want to pick on right now.
Me.
All right, Ken, go for it.
I went 1880.
All right.
I also went 1880.
What?
Oh, no way.
I think we had a little cheating here.
I didn't see.
I know. I'm just kidding.
It's like I'm changing my
I
answer.
couldn't even see your paper if I wanted to.
I don't know how. I know, but your desk is 3 feet higher than Matt, and you're sitting behind him. So, no, I'm just kidding. Just for people to visualize that.
Just imagine this as a classroom.
We're in stadium seating classroom. I went with 1897 for no reason.
Okay, so your answer wasn't even based on the 1880 scheme here.
No, I'm just saying because you had the same answer as
me of
Matt.
cheating. It was a coincidence.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I know you're not cheating.
Well, the good news to one of you is you will receive points.
Oh, one of us. We know how this is going to end then.
For the record, that's not mutually exclusive. 2 of you could be receiving points. You're not.
But we're not.
It's Neil receiving points. The University of Chicago was opened in 1892, and you just snuck in on that answer.
Man, I was gonna say 1900, which would have been closer, but still out of the range. That was my original.
Yeah.
I just snuck into that answer, and that's the only way I'd be able to get into University of Chicago is by sneaking in.
Well, you could just show up on campus. It doesn't mean you have to attend classes there. All right. On to question 6. Bruce Willis was in what 1995 movie about a convict turned time traveler?
All right, I'm in.
I don't think I'm giving Neil anything that he didn't already know by saying, is this the second Luc Besson question of the game?
It is not.
These hints do nothing for me, and I don't have any clue.
Yeah, see, I figured that was the
Well, it could either... I don't care if you get the hint, but it's either a Luc Besson question or it's a Terry Gilliam question.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say my wrong answer first. Whenever there's a time travel question and I don't know, I just say Looper, even though it's wrong. But he's in it, so...
It's true.
Yeah, not terrible. Yeah, there was some affiliation.
Not
All
1995, though.
Ken,
I
you
went,
changed your answer?
13 Monkeys.
Oof.
Did I get the number wrong? I did. It's 12 Monkeys, isn't it?
It is 12 Monkeys.
Oh!
I went 12 Monkeys, yeah.
Neil with the credit on 12 Monkeys. Also, Fifth Element was not 1995.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing, yeah. That would have been a giveaway.
Question 7. In what country was basketball invented?
Shoot, so I asked a question way before we even started the podcast about what kind of baskets were used. And I remember they were peach, and it was invented by Naismith, I think was his name. I'm just trying to remember if it was in the U.S. or not. This is get me. All right, I'm in.
All right, I said U.S.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's not the U.S., I'm going to feel really stupid on this one. So I said USA.
I put Canada.
Oh, Neil, it's Canada.
It is?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
good.
absolutely Canada.
I had a feeling...
Neil's kind of running away with this one a little bit.
Because I remember doing the research for this, and when they talked about how we used peach baskets and that the way the game was structured, it said Canada, and I was like, oh, that's crazy because it's such an American followed sport, even though I know it's international, but the NBA is so like America centric. So I'm glad I went with that guess.
Yeah, it seemed so easy, and I was like, it can't be, but it can't be anything else. And then it was something else. Great.
It's usually how those things go. Question 8. Within 3 years, when did India gain its independence from Britain?
Trying to remember the film Gandhi here.
Yeah, I don't even know the era, so I have an answer. So
I'm between a few time periods, but I don't think they're right. But I'm just gonna go with. I have an answer. A little fun fact about Gandhi: that year it beat E.T. for Best Picture. Richard Attenborough beat Steven Spielberg for Best Director. And as many people know, Richard Attenborough would go on to be...
Jurassic Park.
Yep, he would star in Jurassic Park, and Ben Kingsley would go on to star in Schindler's List with Spielberg.
So
I'm a bigger David fan.
I'll go first. I'll go first here. I remember on another podcast, I think it was Trivial Warfare, actually, they were talking about this question, and they were discussing whether it was right before World War I or right after World War I. And I can't really remember what was discussed, but I just thought it was before World War I. I said 1911.
Okay. So for some reason I had the number 3 in my head. I don't know anything about this question. I'm not pulling it from anywhere in my head, but I was going between 1913, 1903, and then 1923, and for no reason other than the fact that I was happy that LeBron James lost another championship, I went with 1923.
I thought much later. I thought it was after World War I, somewhere right in the middle, around World War II. I just said 1941.
Matt had the right idea. You got to go a little bit later still.
Is it 47?
It's 47.
And I had 47, and I crossed it out 3 separate times because it just seemed way too late, and that kills me.
That's good to know, though. 47.
Yeah, it's much later than you would think.
I know I've mentioned it before. I don't know if it's ever made any of our show cuts, but I'm a big fan of Salman Rushdie and Midnight's Children.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really great retelling of the...
So Jeff's easy game has taken the Shyamalanian turn.
It has. And one of us is a creature, so we won't tell you who.
Yeah, if you tuned out after 2 questions and then just checked back in with us, it's gone a little downhill since
also,
then.
I can't be touched with water.
Not necessarily for Neil. While you guys may be 0 for 4, Neil is 3 of the last 4. So
This is unheard of. I think it's the coffee we're drinking. Whatever I put in it, it's working.
You put something in that?
I put the Limitless pill in there.
And just yours, though.
Just mine.
Question 9. Who painted the Dutch Golden Age painting The Night Watch? How many great Dutch painters do you know?
None.
This kills me because I've heard a question about the Night Watchman many, many times, and I'm like, I'm going to learn that painter's name, and I never do. And all I can think of is Keanu Reeves was going to be in a movie called The Night Watchman that never happened.
Well, I know the worst thing is that I wrote this exact question and I can't remember the answer.
Maybe I heard it from you. I've heard it several times though.
Okay. I wrote an answer down. Don't think it's correct. Oh, wait.
Change your answer? No, you're good.
Ken's back out. Neil, how you feeling?
No, once you're in. This is not the hokey pokey.
All right.
That's the episode title.
Okay, I have an answer. I'm pretty sure he's not Dutch, but I like a movie that is about this guy, so I'm just going to put it.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So, Neil, what movie do you like about what guy?
Well, I love the documentary directed by Teller of Penn and Teller fame, Paul's Vermeer, and it's a really great documentary if you haven't seen it. It's about a scientist that's friends with Penn and Teller, and he basically figured out the science of how Vermeer painted the camera obscura, and basically recreated one of Vermeer's paintings so well that art historians couldn't tell the difference between the real thing and his. And so I just went with Vermeer.
Mm-hmm. I put my favorite Sliders character, Rembrandt.
Ken?
I hate to bring this back around to another one of our episodes, but I was just trying to pick a guy that I knew wasn't like French or Italian, and I just said Munch.
2 Dutch painters usually come to mind. That would be Van Gogh and Rembrandt.
Yeah.
It was Rembrandt.
Oh, I went with Rembrandt on that episode. Your Edward Munch, the one about what painting was stolen.
Mm-hmm.
And,
well, you recently posted on the Triviality podcast about Sliders, and that made me think of Rembrandt, and that's honestly what jogged my memory towards this one. Because you said, what was the name of the main character?
Oh, you mean Quantum Leap?
Was it Quantum Leap?
Yeah.
Hey, I
Yeah.
did that completely wrong, and I got the right answer.
Apples and oranges.
Hey, close enough.
As long as you get the right answer. Question 10. Who won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 2016?
I'm not going to write the
I'm
answer.
covering
that I
my
want.
answer, so Matt can't look.
Yeah.
Game's gotten heated. People are very protective of their answers.
Finally, I can get one right again. I think it's Bob Dylan.
Blonde on Blonde, Bob Dylan.
I knew Bob Dylan won this, and I didn't put anything down, so nothing for me.
So unfortunately, nothing for Matt, but Ken and Neil do get points. It was, of course, famously Bob Dylan who declined to receive his prize. I didn't put that in because I thought that would be a dead giveaway. Also, it's kind of funny that he won it in literature. So.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking literature. I heard Nobel Prize, and my mind went to...
Malala Yousafzai?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and I couldn't remember the name, and then I gave up much too early.
That's when he went. I was thinking of that initially, and then he said 2016 for literature, and then that's when I knew it was Bob Dylan.
Yeah. He's acclaimed lyricist though, so I guess that's where they came.
Basically, just a poet putting his poetry to music. So
Yeah, exactly.
So, tabulating scores after the first half.
Yeah, I have 40.
I have
I
30.
fell off pretty hard after that. The first 4 questions
Ken is absolutely right. He has 40. He's got a lead just over Matt with 30. Neil coming out as the shining star of round 1.
Wow.
surprised.
Yeah, it's not so much that I've only got 4 correct. It's the nature of the ones that I got wrong. I got them so wrong, so bad, so embarrassing. It's okay though. It's okay. I'll come back.
Yeah, I had a couple right answers that I've crossed out or was off by just a couple, so yeah.
Well, the question we have to ask ourselves here is if Ken has like a screw loose today, because for some reason he just handed me a DVD of the Dirty Baker's Dozen, which is Dirty
please.
13, but should be a Dirty Dozen.
Yeah, I just had a little conniption.
Say goodbye to your credit card rewards. Greedy corporate mega stores, led by Walmart and Target, are pushing for a law in Congress to take away your hard-earned cash back and travel points to line their pockets. The Durbin-Marshall credit card bill would enact harmful credit card routing mandates that would end credit card rewards as we know it. If you love your credit card rewards, tell your lawmakers, hands off my rewards. Tell them to oppose the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill.
So, on to our halftime. Today in our halftime, I focused on movies, specifically IMDb's top-rated movies. What I'd like for you to name is 5 of the top 10 movies, according to IMDb users, as of April 13th, 2017. I'll give you 10 points apiece for your correct answers.
I already know that. I already know a bunch of them. I'm just trying to make sure that they're on the list.
It feels like there's more pressure when a question's in your wheelhouse. It's like, oh, I can't screw this one up.
I know the first 2. That's all that matters. I know that for sure because number 1 is the one I agree with, and it's my favorite movie. But a lot of the ones on IMDb are user generated, so some of them don't really belong there, and they're only like 5 years old, so people just vote them super high.
Yeah.
So, Matt, you had the fewest points going into halftime today, so I will let you start. Just name 5 of the top 10 movies on IMDb.
I said Citizen Kane, Casablanca, Gone with the Wind, Godfather, and Schindler's List.
That's good. Good list.
Okay. And on to Ken next.
Okay, so 2 I'm pretty sure about. I think Shawshank Redemption is number 1 for sure. I think Dark Knight is in there. Then I had to start kind of guessing. I went Citizen Kane, 2001 Space Odyssey, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
All right.
Lord of the Rings.
I was thinking Lord of the Rings because it ends up in these lists for some reason.
That would just make this whole list a sham.
Oh my God, Neil, you're just so incorrect. That movie ties Ben-Hur and
Titanic.
And no, Titanic didn't even win that many, did it?
I didn't even think
it tied Ben-Hur for the most ever.
The new Ben-Hur,
unjustly though.
So Neil,
maybe if I watch them in 60 frames per second, it'll change my opinion.
That's The Hobbit, all right?
How about some answers, Neil?
Neil's quite disappointed here, but I'll let him go. Neil, 5 of the top 10.
I like Peter Jackson. I like The Frighteners. I like Dead Alive.
King Kong.
King Kong's okay.
It's okay.
But they're fine. I'll rewatch them and then I'll report back. But I just find them boring and I fall asleep. Okay. Number 1 is definitely Shawshank Redemption. Frank Darabont. It's probably my favorite movie if I had a gun to my head. Number 2 is actually The Godfather, Coppola's masterpiece. Dark Knight, I believe, is in the top 5. And number 4 and number 5, a little bit of a toss-up. I'm trying to decide if I should go old or new. If this was AFI, obviously Citizen Kane would be in the top 5, but I'm going to go with Schindler's List, which I think might be 8, but I want to put Schindler's List in there for a little bit of Spielberg. And then 5, I was debating Wizard of Oz or Casablanca. So I'm going to go Casablanca. So Shawshank, Godfather, Dark Knight, Schindler's List, Casablanca.
So I will let you know that Matt, you had 2 of them right.
All right, I guess.
Ken, you had 3 of them right. Neil, 4 of them right. So you'll be getting 40 points, Ken 30, and Matt 20. Let me give you the list real quick, and I've got a little bit further. I'll go through the top 15. Absolutely right. Number 1, Shawshank Redemption. Number 2, The Godfather. This is where we all fell off a little bit. Number 3, The Godfather Part 2.
I had that one. I should have said it.
Dark Knight was in the top 5 at 4. 12 Angry Men comes in at number 5. Absolutely right. With Schindler's List. 13 Angry Men, yes.
Oh my God. You make one mistake. One little mistake.
Schindler's List comes in at 6. Pulp Fiction 7. Lord of the Rings Return of the King absolutely in the top 10 at 8. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly 9. And the top 10 rounds out with Fight Club.
I'm so glad Lord of the Rings Return of the King
I had Pulp Fiction on there and I almost said it and I really obviously I wish
originally I had written a top 15 list. Thought that might be a little too hard. You're gonna hear now why I picked top 15. Really wanted to do this. Mostly because I think it's really gonna hurt Neil's feelings. Number 11, The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Number 12, Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Forrest Gump comes in at 13, Inception at 14, and if you go all the way to 15, you get the full trilogy. Lord of the Rings, Two Towers is 15.
That's right, Neil.
That's a little... Yeah, but this is IMDb.
How you like them apples?
I don't like the apples. I also think Empire Strikes Back, I love it, but I think it's a little overrated. I think Boba Fett is a very overrated character.
How do you like that lembas spread?
Is that from Star Wars or Lord of the Rings?
Oh my God! So Lord of the Rings has 20% of the best 15 movies of all time.
Excuse yourself, Neil.
Yes,
that makes sense.
It does.
I'll excuse myself and then I'll do it again. I'll do it 5 more times before I stop, just like the end of the Return of the King.
Go back to the Shire.
I thought maybe Ken might guess Inception. I know it's a favorite of yours. It is highly rated.
I was thinking about Inception.
Yeah, highly rated, but kept out of the top
enough.
10.
You didn't incept yourself enough to remember to say Inception.
Well, you would have been wrong anyways, because that's just outside of the top 10.
The only thing that Lord of the Rings Return of the King didn't provide was the 40 points, which I did get. So
I hope you sail off to the Grey Havens very shortly, Neil.
Oh, man.
Wow. There's a lot of hostility in this round.
There's a lot of Lord of the Rings references that I don't get. Samwise Gamgee, I know that. Sean Astin.
Nailed it.
Why don't you watch it again, and maybe you can be better informed.
I'll watch it again. I watched them all when I was in... well, no, some of them I wasn't in film school, but... I don't know. I'll watch them again. We'll see what happens.
Film school, too good for Lord of the Rings.
I went to Liverpool Film School with Ringo Starr.
Hung it on me wall.
So no change in the standing once I tabulate the points here. So everyone does get a bit of a bump. Matt goes up to 50, Ken to 70, and Neil triple digits at 100.
Wow.
I'm just getting all this hostility because I'm in the lead for once.
All right, let's start round 2. Portugal shares a land border with this country.
I have an idea on this one. Geography is not my strong suit, as I'm sure our listeners already know, seeing as I confuse capital cities of Canada and Australia. But
To be fair, you didn't confuse them because the capital of Australia is
Not
ACT,
Victoria. I know.
the Australian Capital Territory.
The worst thing is, I might be on the wrong continent, and then I'm going to feel real stupid.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you.
Good.
I'm between two right now, but I think I'm just going to go with Brazil, just because, I don't know, just because I want to.
All right, Neil with Brazil. Ken?
Is Portugal not in Europe? I went Spain.
I also thought it was in Europe and said Spain.
Well, it's a good thing you did because Spain is the correct answer.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
My first thought
Can we
was...
get off this 12 monkeys thing now?
Oh, no, it'll come back.
Focus back on this.
I thought, like, my first thought was Chile too. For some reason, like, no, it's in Europe.
Now that, when you say Spain, it makes sense. But
I think
geography, not
you're
my strong
thinking
suit.
because Portuguese is the official language
That's
of
why,
Brazil.
yeah.
That's why.
You're down to only the one monkey on your back, not all 12.
All right.
Question 2. Sergeant Horvath, Private Reuben, and Private Jackson are characters in this movie.
I'm running through a bunch of war movies in my head, and I'm wondering if I'm on the wrong track. Because Jeff would most likely pick a pretty popular one.
Horvath, Reuben, or Jackson. Yeah, I mean, I could see him going Saving Private Ryan, but I'm trying to think. I mean,
Horvath. Man, that Horvath is...
I'm officially locked in with an answer.
Yep, I'm in. Quit looking at my sheet, Matt.
I can't read your handwriting anyway, so what's the point?
I'm not happy with it, but...
All right. Matt is the first in. Matt, what did you say?
So I was initially thinking the Damon Wayans classic Major Payne, which I know is not right.
I love that movie.
I ended up settling in with A Few Good Men.
All right. Ken?
Now that I'm thinking about it, now that I've written my answer and the answers are coming in, I think it's a cop movie and not a war movie. But I said Thin Red Line.
And Neil?
A Few Good Men actually sounds really good, meaning that Nicholson was Horvath. I thought maybe you'd go a little obscure other than Saving Private Ryan or something newer, so I just went Full Metal Jacket.
Everyone danced around the obvious. So, Captain Miller,
Yeah, oh God, Saving
Private
Ryan.
Mellish,
Yeah.
Private Caparzo, and Corporal Upham round out the other parts of the team
I can't believe you did that.
in Saving Private Ryan.
I thought it was too easy because Horvath, was that Tom Sizemore?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I would have guessed that.
I mean, that's exactly what I wanted to say, but I was
Yeah.
like, no way he's asking a Saving Private Ryan question.
That's why.
Saving Private Ryan is I think it's my favorite Spielberg movie, and it's certainly my favorite war movie.
Yeah, it should have won.
Well, I was in the
year.
right. I was in the right conflict, but not the right theater.
I thought Horvath. I'm like, oh, Tom Sizemore, and then I thought it was too easy, so I was like, okay, I'm not going to go for that.
Is that the word theater? The Pacific Theater?
Theater.
Right? That's what they say, right?
Yes, the Pacific Theater. Absolutely. Question 3. It's all about the fifth element, not the movie, and not the actual fifth element, which is boron. Which element is the fifth most abundant in the Earth's crust, in the human body, and in the oceans? All 3. Number 5.
I'm going to lock in with an answer anyway.
On previous episodes, you've heard that I don't know anything about elements, except maybe a Honda element. So I'm going to go with just one that I know is in the body, and I think it's in the water and Earth's crust. So don't know if that's right.
Okay. I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
So
All right.
I went with one that is number 1 in terms of the Earth's atmosphere, nitrogen.
All right.
I said sodium, but I think that's too high in the ocean. I think there's more than top 5, but I said sodium.
Okay.
I just went with carbon because I answered that on a previous episode, on episode 6, and I got it wrong. So I was hoping if I said it again, I'd get it right.
Yeah, one of these days.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, you've all gotten it wrong.
Yeah.
You might find this in your bones. You might find this in the Great Barrier Reef, and you definitely find it in the White Cliffs of Dover. Calcium.
Is that a Game of Thrones reference?
No.
White Cliffs of Dover.
Sounds like it would be.
And when Neil has a tummy ache, he busts out the Tums, and there's calcium in there too.
Oh, yeah.
Was it? I don't bust out Tums. I know what you mean, though.
You could.
I could. I prefer Gaviscon, and they did pay me to say that today.
Gaviscon. It takes the pain away.
I love that we're saying it because no one cares about Gaviscon. They wouldn't even know about this. So Gaviscon. Okay.
Someone has a Google alert
I
set
will
for
delete
Galveston.
Gaviscon's fine. No one cares.
See, nobody cares.
That's it. Gaviscon here.
Gaviscon.
So, question 4. What 3 presidents were all born in 1946? In fact, they were all born within 3 months of each other. Summer of 1946.
I'm locked in.
Matt's in? Yeah, this was not one I knew, but then I stumbled upon this fact and I thought it was quite interesting. I probably could have figured it out logically.
Okay, I'm in on this one.
Mhm.
I read through my presidents and I think I came up with it.
Matt and Ken are in. Neil's sweating it out over there.
Watching both of these guys try to do math to figure out how old people would be when they were presidents pretty great, though.
I would have thought that people would have not been sweating so much on this one, but
I think I have two of them, and I'm just.
I was in the same boat, and then I decided that I wasn't going to think any harder. I was just going to lock in with what I thought was right.
We need to name 3, correct?
yes, all 3 were born in the summer of 46.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ken, you were in, you were out, you were back in.
Yeah, I did the hokey pokey on this one, and I ended up saying Clinton, George W. Bush, and Donald Trump.
I'm almost 100% positive on Trump and Clinton, and then I went with GW.
Neil.
So I knew Donald Trump just had his birthday recently. He turned 71. So
I hope he had a very unhappy birthday.
I deduced that one. I put Clinton, and then I had George W. Bush and Jimmy Carter written down. I feel like George W. isn't as old as I thought he was. And I saw Jimmy Carter on a plane handshaking everyone, and he looks very old, but I feel like he's like 80. But I put Jimmy Carter actually instead of George W.
James Earl Carter is 92, I believe.
Yeah, that's
he's quite elderly.
He's very old. So yes, Matt and Ken with correct answers there. So yeah, born within about 3 months of each other. Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, and George W. Bush.
Should have went with my gut. I had them listed right there, and I second guessed myself.
Yeah, something that I didn't know. Thought that was an interesting fact. Because especially since you think it's been about 25 years since Clinton took office. So shows you a little bit of a difference there.
Well, he was the cool young president at the time, right? He did the saxophone thing.
That's right. He played saxophone on stage.
Out.
Rhodes Scholar.
Yeah.
Depends on what your definition of is.
So we've been going cool, lame, cool, lame.
Yeah. So we're in for a treat next.
I hope so.
So Kanye is running. Good. Confirmed.
Or The Rock.
That would be very uncool to me.
No, it's Vanilla Ice. No one's cooler than the ice.
Mr. Van Winkle.
Yes.
All right. On to question 5. Our listener submitted question. This one coming today from David Raffetto. David is our first Patreon supporter, so thank you very much, David. If you want to also join him and check us out, support us, you can find us at patreon.com/trivialitypodcast. So David's question is, what Washington, D.C. building has the address 1 First Street? Got to thank you for this question, David. I am a geography buff. Didn't know this one myself. Got it wrong when I took a look.
That is bad news for us.
Mm-hmm.
I know 2 buildings, and I don't think it's either of these.
Well, I know one and its address, and then the one that I guessed was wrong.
Yeah, I have a guess.
It's not like the Washington Monument.
Yeah, I don't know if that was like a trick because it has a door and stairs and that we considered a building.
That did cross my mind.
Yeah.
So. I can go ahead and keep guessing, but I'm just going to pick one, go with the gut.
Yeah, I'm going to put my wrong answer in too.
Okay, I'm in. I'm not confident about it.
All right. Ken, you were in?
I wonder now if it's the Smithsonian, but I went with the Treasury.
Okay. Matt?
I put the Capitol building.
I put the Pentagon.
Not famously 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, as that is the White House.
Correct.
My gut also went to the U.S. Capitol, but you missed out on the third branch of government. 1 First Street is where you can find the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ah.
So, great question. Thanks for that, David.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. That's a toughie, but fair question.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you know there's 365 stairs there? One for each day of the year? No, the U.S. Capitol. Going back to that.
Mm-hmm.
No, see, that would be like one of those viral sensations that some weirdo does where like they only
they
stand
photograph
on one
themselves
stair.
on
Right.
one stair every
one
day
stair
for a
every
year.
day for a year. David Blaine will probably do it at some point.
Like
When
a
he
time lapse, like James Blunt's had a bad day.
It'll be
over.
David Blaine's 365 stairs.
I was actually thinking it was Neil's 2018 recap, Stairs in Review, and it's just like a picture of you walking down the stairs one day at a time.
Throw a slinky down that mother.
Ugh, it gets to the final one. Doesn't go all the way.
There's a question here that I don't
Just
like. I'm going to admit.
Ace Ventura.
It's very symbolic of Congress.
Oh, that too.
We would need a 5-4
to...
approval to put that slinky downstairs.
Question 6. Which tennis champion tested positive for a banned substance at the 2016 Australian Open?
You said champion, right?
Yes.
This would not be the tennis star that was on my wall in college, but a different one.
Is that Agassi?
Man.
That's going to give you a little bit of a hint. Back in 2003, Iowa City, Iowa. I won't say who it is now because I don't want to give the answer away, but that person was on my wall.
I just don't like that those sports questions a tennis question.
Yeah, I do know
because
this
of course it is.
Okay. I am in on this one.
Okay.
I think I remember hearing this on the news. That being said, I'm not a tennis guy. I picked a tennis player.
All right,
You're
let's hear
halfway
it.
there.
Let's hear it.
I went with Sharapova.
I went with Rafi Nadal.
The answer is Maria Sharapova.
That would be Maria Sharapova.
That wasn't even the right gender.
Do you know who was on my wall from those clues I gave in 2003? Kornikova. Anna Kornikova.
Yeah, that makes sense.
One of the other famous.
She was
Olgas.
not a champion.
She was not a champion.
Never
won anything.
Just of
Champion
Neil's heart.
Ooh. That's a
Beat you to
champion
your
of Neil's
own
heart.
joke. I like
Damn
it.
it, man. Today's not my day.
It is not.
But Neil's lead is tenuous right now.
Yeah, it is. I won't score recap. We'll save it for the end. Question 7, 007 tries to stop a satellite that can fire an electromagnetic pulse at the Earth. In what Bond movie?
I'm in.
Yep, same.
Of course they are. I'm going to know it as soon as I hear it, and then it's going to bother me. Yeah, I have an answer.
Okay.
Ken with some confidence?
I'm going to go with GoldenEye, though Moonraker was also in my mind. GoldenEye is the one where he's trying to stop the satellite from causing damage.
Yeah, based on my knowledge from the 64 game, I remember there were parts of that, so I said GoldenEye.
I thought GoldenEye would be too easy, so I went with Moonraker for some reason.
So a satellite would not be on the moon.
Oh.
Ken and Matt are correct. It is
See, I thought GoldenEye was too easy.
I love GoldenEye.
Oh, did you?
I spent so many hours in that multiplayer.
What was the name of the guy that worked the satellite?
I thought that one had a nice subtle clue
that
because
would be, Boris.
Boris, yeah.
Because I believe satellite for satellite dish is
Played
one of the
by
levels.
Alan Cumming, I believe.
Yes, he plays Boris. Question 8. What actor loved the smell of napalm in the morning in the movie Apocalypse Now?
I'm in. So make up for not getting GoldenEye.
This is one that I should know, and I don't.
Great documentary about the making of that movie called Heart of Darkness. Definitely worth a look.
I always confuse him with James Caan. I almost wrote James Caan, and it's not him. It's
Jim Caan?
Jim Caan. He's got an S in his name. He's in The Judge. I don't know why I have such trouble with these actors. I always forget James McAvoy's name and this guy's name all the time. Oop, I got it. Okay.
I'm watching Neil watch Ken write down his answer.
Yeah, folks listening at home, there's definitely an edit in there because I was thinking about this for a little bit too long. But I think I finally came up with the correct answer.
And what'd you settle upon?
Robert Duvall.
Yeah, so Robert Duvall is the correct answer. I think where you messed up is you said there might be an S in it, but in Godfather he played Sonny, so maybe that's where you got the S from.
I don't think so. I think I just always forget this guy's name, and it just like disappears from my mind and comes back, and I think he's James Caan for some reason.
Yeah, it's a common mistake. Matt?
I put not James Caan because I know it's not James Caan, and that's all I got from that.
Technically correct.
Yeah,
It is technically correct, but I will not award points for that. Question 9. Uluru is a massive sandstone monolith found in the Northern Territory of this country.
Okay.
Can you spell or say Unaloo?
Uluru.
Uluru.
Uluru. It's a massive sandstone monolith. All right. Ken?
All right. I figured this might be related to Petra somehow, so I said Jordan.
Okay.
I was thinking the same region. I said Egypt.
All right. And Neil?
Those are great answers. I just put Saudi Arabia.
So you might know it better as Ayers Rock. Uluru is a monolith found in the center of Australia.
Oh.
We were all way off.
And I purposefully wrote an Australia question I thought Neil would get wrong.
I was going to go Australia because you went territory, and it jogged my memory because earlier on you said Australian territory or whatever.
Yeah. Northern Territory is a state in Australia.
Yeah, and so when you said that... Yeah.
And the when you spelled Uluru too, I was thinking that it might be like native Aborigine.
It is an Aboriginal
and I was like,
term.
I was thinking that too, but I was too ingrained in the Middle East by that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I was all in on the Middle East.
Question 10. There are 4 fundamental forces in nature. Gravity is one of them. Tell me the other 3.
Okay. This is tough. Trying to think back to science class and maybe films that this might have been referenced in as well.
I apologize to Zach, not my teacher in high school. It was a long time ago, and I don't remember.
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah, me too, because I don't care. I don't know this at all.
All right. Neil, you think you're wrong. What do you got?
Oh, I think I'm wrong. I just put acceleration, velocity, and mass.
Yeah, I put Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay, I think I was onto something a little bit more on this one. I think in addition to gravity, magnetism is one, energy is one, and I was having trouble with the 4th, and I had to settle for matter, though I don't think that's correct.
So the 4 fundamental forces: gravitation, electromagnetism, the strong and weak nuclear forces. After tallying up our points, Matt still in 3rd place with 80. But Ken moves up to a tie for first, 120 points he shares with Neil.
All comes down to this, Neil.
We usually end in a tiebreaker, but I feel like Matt can come up from
Yeah, Matt's
behind.
here too. Let's
Matt is still
not
here.
forget. We'll see how this goes.
It's true. I mean, you can wager up to 150. No one has that many, but you certainly can make up some ground here. All right. So the first question is going to be in physics. Second question is going to be in geography. Question 3 is going to be in units of measurement. Question 5, 80s pop hits. All right. So as you may know, final round, 5 questions. Players can wager up to 30 points per question. And so we will see what they wagered. First question was in physics. Which physicist is responsible for developing the uncertainty principle? Last name is acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know this too.
Question 2, geography. Name New York City's 5 boroughs.
Oh, man.
The question 3, in measurements. How long is a fortnight?
Oh, man. I know this one. And I did not wager.
Question 4, in sports. What is the occupation of the highest paid public official in the U.S.?
That is not sports.
And the last question is in 80s pop. In 1985, this band asked people to hush hush as voices carry. Keep it down now, Matt. Hush hush are the lyrics and voices carry is the song title.
Okay, I'm in all around.
Yeah, me too. I don't think I'm going to get that one.
I'm just thinking of that public official one. Highest paid public official.
Yes, hush hush are the lyrics and voices carry. I guess the way it's worded, you might think I
Okay,
took a little bit of
I'm,
artistic
in all
license,
around.
but I'm pretty sure that I can back this one
I
up.
think it's fine.
So,
I think I know what you're getting at. I don't know what it is, but
okay.
Mm-hmm.
And answers in physics. What physicist is responsible for the development of the uncertainty principle? So Neil had the throwaway here. Let's go to you. He had no wager here.
I just put Heisenberg.
Okay.
So close. I put Newton.
Ken?
And I put Hawking because I was unaware of the answer.
So the only person with no points to gain is the only person with the right answer. It was Werner von Heisenberg.
Oh, nicely done.
The
Neil.
Heisenberg uncertainty principle.
only reason
Oh yeah,
I-
that rings a bell.
The only
for
reason
sure.
I knew that is my friend James is in a band called the Heisenberg Uncertainty Principle, and I didn't know if that was the same thing, but
Wow, it's quite a way to get it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's one way. So Neil had nothing to gain, but Matt and Ken both lose 10 on that one. Second question. Nobody had any wagers, but the question was, name New York City's 5 boroughs. Who feels confident with this one?
I feel good.
I think I got 4 of them. I went Brooklyn, Long Island, Queens, Manhattan, and I couldn't think of a 5th. But Broadway maybe? No, Neil.
It's the Bronx.
It's the
right?
Bronx.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, Long Island, and the Bronx.
Matt?
Yep, I had the same.
It is not Long Island.
Is it Staten
Oh,
Island?
Staten Island.
Staten Island.
Shoot.
Manhattan, the Bronx, Staten Island, Brooklyn, and Queens. For the record, 2 of the 5 boroughs are on Long Island. Principally, if I'm not mistaken, I know Queens is, and I believe I believe Brooklyn is also. Is it not?
Well, if you're from New York, let us know. I'm sure you will.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Queens in the Bronx, right? Yeah, Queens in the Bronx. All right, third question. Measurements. How long is a fortnight? Nobody with anything to gain here, but it seems like everybody might know it.
2 weeks.
14 days.
I put 2 weeks.
I'll take either. Yeah, 2 weeks, 14 days.
Too bad everybody took the conservative route.
I think if you had called that miscellaneous, I might have bet something. But so it's a shame that you labeled it.
Try and goad you into something.
Yeah.
All right. For question 4. In sports, there is some to gain and lose. Matt bet 30. Neil bet 10. Ken stayed away. Why don't we go over to Matt? So the question, of course, was, what is the highest paid public official in the U.S.? Occupation.
So technically, an athletic director at a public university is a public figure, and they'd be the highest paid. I think it's the athletic director at Alabama. I'm not sure which one.
Do you want to give me the name?
I don't. Is it Nick Saban? Is Nick Saban? Do I get bonus 30 points?
I will give you that because you know who it was. Yes, he is an athletic director, but he's more commonly a football coach, as you know. So, yep, that is correct. And Neil, what did you put?
I just put general manager.
I had no answer on that one.
Right. So, Matt gaining 30 on that one. Well played. Neil will drop only 10. And on to question 5. Wagers here all around. Ken and Neil throwing in 10, Matt throwing in 20. In 1985, this band asked you to hush hush as voices carry. Who was that?
All right. So when I was very young, I had these 80s compilation CDs that my uncle gave me as a gift. I believe this song was on one of those CDs. And the band, I think, is called Till Tuesday.
All right. Matt?
I was thinking of the song Too Shy by Koji something.
Kajagoogoo?
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking of, so that's what I put.
All right. Neil?
For some reason, I couldn't get Toto's Africa out of my head, so I just put Toto.
All right. It is not Toto. It is not Kajagoogoo. It is apostrophe TIL Tuesday. Till Tuesday. Ken, well played.
Thank you, sir.
So, calculation of the final. Ken came out unscathed, neither gaining nor losing. He broke even in that final round. Neil, down 20. And Matt also comes out dead level with where he started. So the final round scores bring it to Matt 80, Neil 100, and Ken 120. So it looks like this week, Ken, you are the cream of the crop.
I am the cream, the cream of the crop.
That was a good game, guys. I'm glad I was able to somewhat redeem myself for some of the really embarrassing answers I gave, but I don't think any amount of victory can take away the stain
of 13 monkeys.
You should have wagered so you ended the game at 130.
Yeah. Well, 120 is actually the correct amount to end it. So
yeah, I was going to bet 0 the whole round, but because we always end in tiebreakers, and I should have, but that was a good game.
Yep, good game, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Good questions, and it was almost like 50% through that game, so I think that's a good difficulty level.
A little higher than your usual game, so we'll take it.
Is it? That's right about where you guys finish on mine. So,
fine.
Thank you to Ken, Matt, and Neil for a great game. If you'd like to play along with our contestants, make sure to check out our Facebook page, download our official Triviality score sheet that we use here in the studio. If you'd like to get in touch with any of us, find us on Twitter using the hashtag TrivialityPod, Facebook at facebook.com/TrivialityPod, or you can reach out directly via email to send your question submissions to trivialitypodcast@gmail.com. Make sure if it's a question 5 submission to put it in the subject line along with the host you'd like to read it. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you to David and Adam for today's questions.
Indeed. And what is another way that people can spread the word, Ken?
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. And other than spreading the word, the best way you can support the show is by rating, reviewing, and subscribing to Triviality on your favorite podcast app. And we really do appreciate those reviews to make us a little more searchable, and hopefully more strangers can find us.
We're aiming for 50. Until next game, on behalf of Ken, Matt, Neil, and myself, that was Triviality.
What food have we got left?
Well, let me see.
Oh, yes. Lovely. Lambus bread. And look! More lambus bread. I don't usually hold with foreign food, but this other stuff, it's not bad.